Hi, welcome to my next video on Azure Cloud Concepts. We are going to see section Cloud Types, and this session will be helpful to you for your interview preparations or for exam preparations. We are going to see different types of cloud and their usage and the comparison between different cloud types. To start with, if you are new to my series of videos, have a look at another video which is available in the YouTube, which talks about IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. It provides a cheat sheet information that will helpful for you for your further learning. Now, let's see what are the different types of cloud. There are four important types of cloud. The first one, public cloud, which is offered by cloud service provider for the public usage. There are multiple customers sharing the cloud resources here in the public cloud. The second one is private cloud. It is offered for a single customer exclusive usage. This is used only for organization purpose to run their business. Third one is hybrid cloud, which combines two or more interconnected clouds of different deployment models. For example, one public cloud and another private cloud connected together to run a business. Fourth one is community cloud. It is provided for two or more organizations who have similar business. Now, let's see what is public cloud. Everything run on the cloud services provider environment. That is a main feature of public cloud. Here in the public cloud, there is no local hardware in customer workplace. Third thing, some hardware in the cloud environment will be shared with other customers, which means the public cloud is shared entity whereby multiple corporations or customer each use a portion of the resources in the cloud. The hardware resources, what I mean, are server, storage, and other infrastructure, which are managed by the cloud service provider. Multiple companies create resources such as virtual machines and virtual networks on hardware resources. That is, public cloud support for multi-tenancy, which means it houses multiple company resources as well as the data. Usually, you can connect to public cloud through internet. And another important point that you have to note under public cloud is it is operated on pay as per use model and administered by third party cloud service providers such as Google, Azure, AWS. And another important point you have to note with respect to cost is there is no capex is required. Customer can buy any resource or services from the cloud service provider and start working or developing using them. That is, there is no initial investment is required for the customer to buy costlier resources. It is owned and operated by the service provider. Another thing is the customer need not maintain any hardware such as hardware maintenance activity, something like replacing faulty server or upgrading server hardware or updating server operating systems or applying server software patches. All these will be taken care by the cloud service provider. So with that, there is no deep technical skills are required from customer side for provisioning the resources and configuring them. Customer shall get 24 by 7 support from the cloud service provider for provisioning, configuring, and troubleshooting. It supports for unlimited resources including storage. The resources shall be scalable at any given point in time and also support for elasticity. It is user friendly for customers. They can order, configure, or manage the resources using friendly capital graphical user interface. Say it in Azure, it is Azure portal. Next, let us see the pros and cons of public cloud. There are many pros and cons, but I have listed only the most important pros and cons of public cloud. The first one is high availability and agility. We have seen this concept. And again, just to recap, public cloud offers services up and running for long periods of time with every little with very little downtime and also support for agility. So that's the first advantage of going for public cloud. Second one is it is inexpensive. That is, they are good for smaller companies and also cost effective. Public cloud eliminates the need for upfront capital expenditure as well as ongoing maintenance costs, since the service provider manages the entire infrastructure and so it is inexpensive. Third one is less prone to hardware failures. Any changes in the hardware failures are either less or even in the case of the failures related to the servers, replacement will happen in a matter of few hours. Our standby hardware resources will take control and so customer won't feel any downtime. The fourth important stuff is it is considered a suitable model for less confidential data since the resources are shared by multiple customers. And fifth is it's related to scalability. Here, public cloud can easily scale up or down to meet changing demands, reducing cost and increased efficiency. And the sixth one is related to accessibility. Public cloud allows access from anywhere within the internet connection, making it ideal for remote work and collaboration. And the last one is related to reliability. Public cloud provides multiple data center and disaster recovery options, which ensures high availability and reducing downtime. Here, when we are talking about suitable for less confidential data, means if you take any organization, the confidential data out of the entire data set available for the company, it is a minimum amount, minimum percentage, say for example 10 to 15 percentage. So the rest of the data can be maintained in the cloud, and that's why that's considered as an advantage. Now, let's see the cons or the disadvantages related to public cloud. First one is security and compliance. It's suitable for less confidential data. That is, public cloud security can be a concern as data is stored on shared servers that are managed by the service provider. And so customer may doubt when I put confidential data in a shared entity, will it be exposed to other customers who are sharing the infrastructure? So that will be an usual concern and considered as one of a con. Second one is hard to prevent sharing information. In line with the previous point, since the resources are shared between customer, it is harder to prevent sharing of information. There are security controls are in place, but they need to be reviewed time to time by the customer, which host their sites in the public cloud, which is another burden to customer. Third one may run out of business or sold. Cloud service provider may run out of business due to lack of support from the public. Since CSPs have invested heavily on setting up data center, they will be looking for adequate revenue out of the investments made. Sometimes CSPs might be brought over by another CSPs. Next one is related to dependency on the internet connectivity. Since public cloud relies on stable internet connection, which can affect the performance and availability in case of outages or in the remote regions where the internet connectivity is is not in line with the expectation. Next one is related to lack of control. What it means is public cloud users have limited control over the infrastructure, making it difficult to customize the environment to meet specific needs. And the last one and most important one is compliance issues. Public cloud may not meet certain regulatory requirements, making it difficult for organizations in certain industries to use the technology. Now, let's see what is private cloud. Private cloud provides computing services to private internal network that is within an organization and selected user instead of general public. So only the selected users can access the internal network and start using the resources which are available. Here, all hardware need to be managed by the customer, including faulty server replacement, upgrading the hardware, or update the OS or the software patches. Here, no hardware environment will be shared with any other customer or with the public cloud. The resources are usually connected using company intranet and very restricted usage of public internet. This is owned and operated by a service provider who requires network specialists and architects to manage the infrastructure. So the service provider usually the customer themselves, and so they need the network specialists and architects to manage the vast infrastructure. And finally, the single tenancy model, which means it's exclusively used by the single customer who own the network and can have total control over the network, data, and the applications. So these are the key features related to private cloud. Now let's see the pros and cons of private cloud. Number one, on the left side, if you look into that, it is dedicated and secure. That means entire cloud resources including network, switches, firewall, servers, data store, etc. are in the closed network and protected by firewall or right authentication controls. And it is made available only to customer and their employees. So it is dedicated to their work and more secure. And it can meet any security and compliance related requirements. Second one, it is suitable for maintaining confidential data and the private cloud model ensures security of such data. Third one, it is fully customizable for the requirements of the customer, right from firewall to setting up the rules for data access and the right sizing of the servers for the application hosting. Fourth one, it is highly reliable and can support for any scenario. Fifth one, it is easy to track and safeguard the data. That is, you can understand who needs what and when, and appropriately you can put controls over the data. This will ensure that who owned the data, who updated it, when they updated it. So these are the advantages of going for private cloud. So what are the disadvantages or cons related to private cloud? The first one is you need initial capex, which is very high. That is, to set up sophisticated private cloud, companies need to invest heavily on the infrastructure. Also, they need to keep their reserves for ongoing maintenance of the infrastructure, which is considered as an OpEx. Second one, limited agility. Private cloud owned exclusively by the company. Usually, companies invested in the resources such as hardware or servers on need basis you can cap on using the capex. That requires internal approval process, workflows, etc. So for any spike in the resources, they cannot meet the agility quickly. That is, if you want to purchase a server or upgrade a server quickly, it will take its own time due to internal approval process, workflow, purchase process, installation, and other stuff. So that's considered as one of the disadvantage of going for private cloud. Third one, it is susceptible to disasters or man-made, either it's man-made or natural. This leads to issues in terms of business continuity and customer satisfaction. Fourth one, it limited ceiling in terms of the resources, can, which means it cannot scale up or scale out resources based on the demand. It takes time to scale up or scale out since it involves various stages of approval, procurement, shipping, configuration of the resources, etc. So these are considered as the disadvantages of the private cloud. Now let's see what is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private clouds. It's a cloud computing environment that combines on-premises data center, also called as private cloud, with the public cloud, which allows data and application to be shared between them. That is, between the private network and the public cloud. So here in hybrid cloud, it uses both internet as well as intranet to communicate and exchange data between public and private networks. With hybrid cloud, you can continue to use on-premises servers while adding new servers in the public cloud. That is Azure, for example. You can choose a resource, say database server, between on-premises and the cloud and the public cloud resources in hybrid cloud model. So to form a hybrid cloud, you can deploy your resources either on the on-premises or in the public cloud of your choice and based upon the requirement. And another important thing you need to note, there is no official term used as a third cloud to refer hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is secured by necessary controls in the servers where the sensitive information is kept. An organization decides which data or where the data need to reside, and they have complete control on this. And so these are the highlights of hybrid cloud. Now let's see the pros and cons related to hybrid cloud. The first one is it is suitable for hosting legacy applications. You can run the legacy part of the application in the private cloud. The reason is many cloud service providers do not support for the legacy technology and it is very costlier for them. So run those legacy part of the application on the private cloud and keep the rest in the public cloud. Second one, great flexibility. This hybrid model provides greatest degree of flexibility as you have the option to choose either public or private depending on your requirement. Third one, it utilizes the existing infrastructure and so reducing the overall cost to the customer for infra investment on the private cloud. Fourth one, it is easy to apply security controls and so customer can meet any security requirements. And the last one, it helps maintain tighter control over sensitive data and the process because it is fully customizable and it's on the customer hands. If you look into the cons or the disadvantages related to hybrid cloud, the first one is it may be expensive because maintaining two different cloud is expensive. You need huge investment on the initial capex on the on-premises cloud setup and considerable amount of OpEx is required for maintaining it over a period of time. And also you need to note the cost of integrating and managing multiple cloud environment can be expensive and may offset the benefit of cost savings. Second one, it is complicated to manage. That is, integrating workload across different cloud environments can be time consuming and may require specialized technical skills. Third one, with respect to the previous point, it requires good amount of IT skills and expertise, which is mandatory. Since there are two different clouds, the complexity of networking, providing access control and security is complex and require good skilled network personnel administrators which are which are required to maintain the hybrid cloud as a full-time staff. Fourth one, information hacking. Information moved between public and private resources shall be hacked easily if there are no proper controls are in place. And the fifth one, security concerns. Ensuring data security across different cloud environments can be difficult, especially when sensitive data is involved. Now, let's see some of the misconceptions about the hybrid cloud. More than 50 organizations adopt hybrid cloud across the world. However, there are certain misconceptions about hybrid cloud. Some of them are listed here. Number one, hybrid cloud is not a third cloud. Hybrid cloud is not a separate type of cloud, but rather a combination of multiple cloud environment, including public cloud and private cloud. That is on-premises infrastructure. Second one, hybrid cloud is not secure. It's also considered as a misconception because on-premises servers where you can get or you can implement strict customized security controls. Thereby, they can store confidential information while also integrating with application and assets in the public clouds. Third one, on-premises servers outperform hybrid cloud setup. It's not for a longer term. You shall achieve scalability and elasticity quickly and only going to public cloud. And so hybrid cloud is a mix of public and on-premises resources, and it is suitable for workloads, and it shall be identified between on-premises resource and the public cloud resources. Fourth one, public cloud is only for large enterprise. This is again a misconception. While large enterprise are the early adopters of hybrid cloud, small and medium-sized business can also benefit from cost savings and also flexibility and scalability what it offers. The last one, hybrid cloud is a temporary solution. Actually, it is not. Many organizations adopt cloud strategy by going for hybrid. However, it will be long-term solution for them to continue to operate in hybrid mode. For example, workloads for legacy system at on-premises resources. Next one, what is community cloud? It's a shared cloud computing service or a shared service computing environment that is targeted to a limited set of organization or employees of same or similar business. It's a collaborative effort in which infrastructure is shared between several organizations who does similar businesses to share the information between them. For example, in medical industry to share information about a chemical formula or a research idea that can be helpful between community of organization which are having similar interests. Community cloud may be hosted in a data center owned by one of the tenant or one of an organization or a third party cloud service provider, and it can be either at on-site or at off-site. It's important to note that community clouds require high level of trust and cooperation among the organizations involved and may also require significant investment in management and administration. Some example use cases with respect to community cloud. I can say a community cloud could set up for law enforcement agencies to share criminal data between the various law enforcement agencies. Second one, in healthcare organization where a community cloud can be set up to secure the data and share patient data while adhering to strict privacy requirements. Now, let's see how community cloud is set up. Look here. Here on the left side, we have different organization. Let's assume they are having the similar business interest. Any one of the organization can have an infrastructure that can be shared among these three, or all the three can invest some money and procure a public cloud or build their own infrastructure in a remote location, and they can share the data, that is the data that is shareable between the organizations. Here the IAM stands for identity and access management. It refers to a security discipline that enables the organizations to access right resources at the right time for some right reasons. The IAM help the organization to manage and control access to the resources, including application, system data, and the network, which are shared between the organizations. This is how the community cloud is set up. Now let's see what are the pros and cons of community cloud. The first one is decisions are made collaboratively between organization while going for collaborative community cloud, and so it helps in better collaboration. Number two, sharing of infrastructure and services can result in lower cost compared to each organization setting up their own environment. So it is a good cost savings for every organization. Third one, community clouds are often set up to meet specific compliance requirement. So that makes it easier for organization to comply with the regulations. And the final one, shared knowledge. By sharing an environment, organizations can share knowledge and collaborate on solutions, leading to increased innovations. And these are considered as major advantages for going to community cloud. Now, let's look into the what are the cons of community cloud. Number one, data is accessible between organizations. That leads to security issues. Sometimes this lead to security issues or organization who are part of the community may feel that lack of trust and leading to chaos. Second one, not one size fit for all. That is, community of organization differ in their size and also the requirements to share infra resources. And so one size does not fit for the purpose of organization who are part of the cloud. Third one, shared storage and bandwidth may not be good enough for organizations who require high degree of bandwidth, or number of employees of an organization might require higher bandwidth and storage for their day-to-day operations. And the last one is related to management overhead. Community clouds can require significant investment in management and administration of the community cloud, which may offset the benefit of cost savings for their individual organization. So these are the major disadvantages while going for community cloud. Now let's try to compare the public cloud and the private cloud. Here in this slide, we are talking about the public cloud and private cloud differences. In the public cloud, the resources are all shared by multiple entities or multiple companies, which means a resource is shared across, and so it supports for multi-tenancy. Whereas in the private cloud, the resources are exclusively made available for a particular entity or a company. Second one cluster supports and hosts multiple company apps. That is, a cluster of nodes containing storage supports for multiple companies. Whereas here a cluster means it is exclusively reserved for a particular company business operation. Third one, most of the data transaction or anything related to communication between various resources that is happening using internet. Whereas here in the private cloud, it will be mostly through the intranet. And this public cloud, it is less in terms of supporting confidential data hosting because it's a shared entity. Whereas here private cloud, it's suitable for confidential data hosting because it's ring fenced and made available to the internal employees of the organization. Fifth one, the public cloud is owned and operated by third-party organization like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and other people. Whereas private cloud is owned by a single organization, and so they can make a quick decision in terms of CapEx, OpEx, or policy decisions. Sixth one, customizations are limited to the cloud service provider offerings. You need to follow whatever they offer to you. Whereas in private cloud, you can have a greater control and you can do customization the way that you want. Since it's a shared entity, it's less expensive compared to private cloud. You need lots of capital expenditure in order to procure server, software, and other stuff. And so it's more expensive compared to public cloud. Less maintenance in terms of the customer's perspective because activities like server upgrade, server OS update, security patches update are all taken care by the cloud service provider. Whereas in private cloud, all such activity need to be taken by the company. And so this is one of the bottleneck or overhead for the private cloud. So this with that, I would like to end up today's discussion. Thank you very much, and I hope this video is helpful to you for your uh, for your interview or for your exam preparation. And you can use this guide to enrich your knowledge on Microsoft Azure. And if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell. And you will be notified whenever I publish a new video. And this is not the end of our discussion. We are going to continue with a new video on a newer topic tomorrow. Till then, stay safe and bye now.